Do you feel like you're fading? How small style habits might be making you look older than you feel, and what you can do about it. Have you ever walked into a gathering and noticed someone, maybe a friend, a sister, a neighbor, or even a woman at church, who seems to glow with a quiet confidence? She enters the room, and though she's not wearing anything flashy or trendy, there's something about her presence that commands attention. Her clothes aren't extravagant. Her hair isn't perfectly styled, and yet she radiates freshness, self-assurance, and vitality. She looks alive. Meanwhile, you glance down at your own outfit and wonder, is it my clothes? My posture? My hair? Am I giving off a message I didn't mean to send? Maybe you feel like you're blending into background, not because you want to, but because you've slowly, almost imperceptibly, stopped showing up as the full, vibrant version of yourself. If this sounds familiar, let me tell you something crucial. You are not alone. So many women I've spoken with, intelligent, accomplished, beautiful women over the age of 50, quietly admit they feel like they're fading, not just in style, but in spirit. They look in the mirror and see someone who's lost their spark, their visibility, their sense of self. But here's the truth that I want you to carry with you today. You don't need to change who you are. You simply need to stop hiding who you are. This isn't about chasing youth. It's not about trying to look like you did in your 20s or 30s. This is about reclaiming your presence. It's about showing up as a woman you are right now, a woman who has lived, loved, endured, grown, and earned every line on her face and every strand of silver in her hair. Today, I want to walk you through 7 subtle habits, small, everyday choices that might be making you look older than you feel. These aren't dramatic flaws or wardrobe disasters. In fact, most of them started with good intentions, comfort, modesty, practicality. But over time, they become invisible patterns that dull your light. And more importantly, I'll share what you can do instead, simple, empowering shifts that help you step back into your power, your elegance, and your joy. Because this isn't about looking young. It's about feeling alive. Habit 1, the disappearing act of oversized clothes. It often starts with one small decision. Maybe your favorite jeans have started to feel a little tight around the hips or waist, so you reach for a looser pair, just for comfort. Then your fitted blouse feels snug after a big meal, so you swap it for a flowy tunic. One by one, the pieces in your wardrobe shift, not toward comfort, but toward concealment. What began as a practical choice becomes a habit, and before you know it, your closet is filled with clothes that hang, drape, and hide. You tell yourself you're dressing for comfort. But the truth is, oversized clothing rarely flatters. Instead of making you look relaxed, it often makes you look disconnected from your body, from your energy, and from your confidence. Baggy clothes blur your natural shape. They swallow your posture. They mute your personality. The fabric pools around your waist, droops off your shoulders, and adds visual weight. You may think you're hiding problem areas, but in reality, you're hiding yourself. And here's the deeper issue. When you stop showing your shape, you may stop showing your spirit. I've seen this so many times. One of the most memorable was with my friend Linda, a woman in her early 70s who used to have impeccable style. In her younger years, she wore tailored pencil skirts, soft-fitted sweaters, and scarves tied just so. She carried herself with grace and intention. But after retirement, something changed. She started dressing differently. Not because she was depressed, but because she felt dulled, invisible. One day, she said to me, "Why should I bother? No one's looking." That broke my heart. It wasn't the clothes that troubled me most. It was the belief behind them, that after a certain age, style is no longer for you, that your body is something to conceal rather than honor, that visibility is no longer a right, but privilege you've outgrown. So we went shopping together. Just a casual afternoon out. I gently encourage her to try on a few tailored pieces. Nothing tight, nothing trendy, just clothes that fit, that followed the natural lines of her body. The change wasn't dramatic, like a movie makeover. It was subtler, but far more powerful. The way she held her arms, the way she looked at herself in the mirror, the way she smiled, like she was remembering someone she hadn't seen in years. She wasn't trying to be 25 again. She was simply showing up as herself, a woman with curves, with history, with presence. Oversized clothing might feel safe, but often signals retreat. It whispers, "I'm not fully here." And what many women don't realize is that when you stop showing your shape, you may stop showing your spirit. So here's a better option. Clothing that honors your body. A blouse with a defined shoulder. A dress with a soft waist. A pair of pants that respect your proportions. These aren't frivolous choices. They're small acts of self-recognition. Because you're not dressing for others anymore. You're dressing to tell the world and yourself, I'm still here. I'm still vibrant. I'm still very much a woman. And no matter your age, that presence deserves to be seen. Habit 2, the silent message of a closed neckline. Now, let's talk about something that seems small, almost insignificant. The neckline. At first glance, it's just a detail, a collar, a button, a seam. But after years of observing how women dress in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, I've realized something profound. Your neckline sends a message, whether you mean to or not. What you wear around your face speaks volumes about how you feel about yourself. Closed necklines, high collars, tight crew necks, blouses buttoned all the way to the top are often chosen for logical reasons. It's more polished. I don't want to show too much skin. It hides my neck. But beneath the surface, something else might be going on. A closed neckline often signals a subtle withdrawal. It makes your neck appear shorter, draws attention downward, and restricts the openness of your upper body. More than that, it reflects a quiet, unconscious closing off from the world, from visibility, from softness. Let me tell you about my sister Marie. Marie used to wear open-neck cardigans, delicate chains, and loose button-downs with a gentle dip at the collar. She had a soft, approachable energy. But after turning 65, she began buttoning up, always covered to the base of her neck. No more jewelry. No more softness. When I asked her why, she gave the usual answer, too many wrinkles. No one needs to see that. But what I heard was, I'm not proud of this part of myself anymore. So I gently suggested she try something different. For her birthday, I bought her a blouse, soft cotton, a gentle V-neck, nothing dramatic. She looked at it like I'd handed her a swimsuit, but she wore it. And when she did, she looked lighter, not younger, not thinner, just more open, like her face could finally be seen again without having to peer out from behind layers of fabric. Later, she admitted something that stayed with me. I didn't realize how closed I'd become until I let go of covering everything. Here's the thing. No one is saying you need to bare your chest or throw out every high neck top you own. But ask yourself, are you dressing to express yourself or to protect yourself? Because the neckline is a frame. And what it frames, your face, your expression, your presence, is worth honoring. Let a little light in. It might be exactly what you've been missing. Habit 3. When neutral turns into no one noticed. Picture this. You walk into a community event, coffee in hand, ready to connect. The room is full of women, chatting, laughing, sipping tea. And as your eyes scan the crowd, one thing becomes obvious. Beige everywhere. Cream sweaters. Sand-colored slacks. Light taupe coats. It's as if the entire room agreed to blend into background. Now, neutral tones aren't the enemy. They're timeless, elegant, and versatile. But when everything you wear becomes some shade of oatmeal, something else happens. You don't just look neutral, you look faded. Beige feels safe. It's non-confrontational. It goes with everything. But when worn head to toe, especially near the face, it washes you out. It removes contrast. It softens every feature, and not in a flattering way. As we age, our skin naturally loses pigment. Hair turns gray or silver. Without contrast, your whole appearance can start to blur, like a photograph losing its definition. Let me tell you about Beverly. She was always a bright spirit. Bold lipstick, colorful scarves, a signature red coat. Something about her always popped. But after a few hard years, losing her husband, moving homes, adjusting to solitude, she stopped wearing color. It didn't feel appropriate anymore, she said. I met her for lunch last fall and almost didn't recognize her. Beige coat, beige turtleneck, beige shoes. She looked smaller, not physically, but energetically, diminished. I didn't say anything then, but a few weeks later, I dropped off a gift, a deep burgundy scarf, just a small pop of color. A few days later, she called me. "You were right," she said. "I wore it to the store, and 3 people told me I looked lovely." I hadn't heard that in years. Color does that. It doesn't scream for attention. It simply reminds the world and yourself, I'm still here. You don't need to wear neon. You don't need to reinvent your wardrobe. But near your face, where it matters most, choose contrast. Jewel tones, soft pastels, even a clean white blouse under a darker jacket can be transformative. Beige can be a base. But don't let it become your identity, because a life well lived deserves color. And so do you. Habit 4. When comfort becomes a costume, the truth about clunky shoes. Let's talk about shoes. There's a moment I've seen too many times. A woman walks into a room, confident, radiant, beautifully dressed from the knees up, and then I look down, and it's the same story. Big, bulky shoes, orthopedic soles, thick straps, the kind with Velcro, the kind labeled comfort, but worn like a costume of resignation. Now, let me be clear, I believe in comfort. You've earned the right to never wear painful heels again. No one is suggesting stilettos. But there's a difference between comfortable and clunky. And many women are settling for the latter out of habit, fear, or outdated ideas of what support means. When your shoes are too chunky, too heavy, or too wide, they do more than hurt your feet. They weigh down your entire frame. They change your posture. They shorten your stride. They make your steps more cautious. And most importantly, they visually age you, regardless of what else you're wearing. Why? Because shoes are part of your body language. They speak without words. A polished flat or a slim ankle boot says, I'm still in step with myself. A pair of thick-soled comfort shoes says, I'm just getting by. I saw this firsthand with Eleanor, a retired librarian in her 70s. Witty, sharp, full of life. She had a lovely wardrobe, soft colors, beautiful scarves, tailored jackets, but always the same clunky shoes. When we talked about it, she said, I gave up on stylish shoes after 60. Too painful. I asked if she'd be open to trying something different. Not high heels, just refined comfort. We went shopping. Flexible leather loafers, low-heeled ankle boots, elegant slip-ons with arch support. Nothing extravagant. Just smart, supportive, and beautiful. The change was immediate. She stood taller, walked with more ease. And here's what surprised her. People started complimenting her, not on her shoes, but on her whole look, her energy, her presence. She said, I didn't realize my old shoes were dragging me down, literally and emotionally. Here's the truth. You don't have to choose between comfort and style. They're not opposites. You just have to look beyond the sensible shoe section. Avoid thick soles, wide profiles, Velcro straps, orthopedic shapes that scream practical. Instead, look for soft leather that molds to your foot, cushioned insoles hidden inside elegant designs, narrower silhouettes that follow your foot's shape, neutral tones that elongate the leg. Your shoes should support you, yes, but they should also reflect you, because every step you take still tells a story. Don't let your shoes say you've stopped moving forward. Habit 5. The problem with pretty prints. There was a time when floral prints felt fresh, romantic, playful. You probably remember it. Soft pastels, cotton sundresses, maybe a matching headband. But somewhere along the way, floral became code for age-appropriate. Soft prints turned stiff. Fresh colors turned dusty. Patterns that once danced now sit flat and heavy on fabric. Without realizing it, many women start reaching for prints that make them look older than they feel. Paisley, tiny florals, muted roses, all over patterns that blur the figure, add visual noise, and pull attention away from the face. These prints aren't neutral. They're aging, not because they're feminine or modest, but because they often resemble things that don't move anymore. Old upholstery, faded wallpaper, your gray tans curtains. That's not the energy you want to carry into a room. What you need now is clarity, structure, contrast. Prints that feel alive, not nostalgic. Clean lines, simple patterns. 1 or 2 bold colors. something that lifts the eye and shapes your frame. Take stripes. Vertical ones elongate. Abstract patterns with white space. Even bold florals can work if they're modern and balanced. I once spoke with Jeanette, a 72-year-old artist, vibrant in every way. But she said, I don't understand why everything I wear feels frumpy, even though I love color. When I looked in her closet, I saw why. Cheerful prints, yes, but the kind that belonged in a children's storybook, not on a woman with 5 decades of wisdom. We kept the color, but we changed the language. Out went the tiny florals. In came bold color block tops, geometric prints, soft patterns in navy, ivory, and wine. Same joy, different tone. She said, I finally feel like I'm dressing the age I am, not the age people expect me to be. You're not giving up joy. You're refining it. You're upgrading the visual language of who you are. So next time you reach for a floral top, ask, is this bringing me forward or pulling me back? Because your wardrobe shouldn't echo the past. It should amplify who you are today. Strong, elegant, and yes, still blooming. Habit 6, the untucked trap. When was the last time you tucked in your shirt? Half tuck? French tuck? Full tuck? For many women over 50, the answer is, I can't remember. And it's not surprising. A lot of women have quietly stopped tucking in their tops. It's more comfortable, they say. It hides my midsection. No one tucks anymore. But here's the truth. The untucked habit might be aging your entire look. When every top hangs loose over your waistband, your waistline disappears. Your body looks shorter, wider. The outfit loses shape and polish. And you send a subtle message. I'm not really paying attention anymore. And here's the kicker. It doesn't actually hide what you think it's hiding. That extra fabric bunches. It clings. It emphasizes what you're trying to cover. Without a defined waist or visual break, the eye lands on the middle and stays there. I remember Judy, a 74-year-old retired nurse, warm and put together. But she always wore her tops long and loose, hanging straight over her pants. One day, we did an experiment. Same outfit, 2 ways. First untucked, then front tuck plus thin belt. The transformation? Night and day. Her shape came back. Her legs looked longer. She looked pulled together, without looking stiff. And she said, I actually feel lighter. She hadn't lost weight. She reclaimed her proportions. Now, not every top needs to be tucked, but creating structure, even a slight tuck or a belt, makes a world of difference. So this week, try it. Tuck in one top. Add a belt. Layer a cardigan over a tuck blouse. You might be surprised at how much younger and more like you look, because the point isn't perfection. It's presence. Habit 7. The hair you once loved might be holding you back. Hair is sacred. For many women, it's more than style. It's memory, identity, stability, a place to return to when everything else changes. So when I say an outdated hairstyle might be silently aging you, I say it with respect, because I'm not just talking about hair. I'm talking about who you've been and who you're becoming. Most women don't realize their hairstyle is outdated. It happens slowly. It becomes your signature. Familiar, comforting. But familiarity has a quiet danger. What once empowered you can begin to trap you. Hair that hasn't evolved with you can clash with the woman you are now. It can weigh down your face, frame you in an unflattering way, or make you look like you're still trying to be who you were 20 years ago. I once worked with Frances, 73, elegant and respected, but she wore the same heavily curled bob she'd had since 1991. Same volume, same bangs, every strand in place. It was her armor. But one day she said, I feel invisible. We talked, not about trends, but about letting go, about permission. It took her 6 months. But when she finally changed it, softer cut layers, more natural texture, the result wasn't younger. It was current, alive, in sync. People noticed. Did you lose weight? Go on vacation. No, she just stepped into her real reflection. Your face has changed. So has your energy. Your hair should catch up, not to chase youth, but to express wisdom with lightness. So ask yourself, is my hairstyle still serving who I am today? You don't need to go short. You don't need to go gray. But you do need to let your reflection catch up. Because you're not the same woman you were 20 years ago. You've grown. You've earned ease. You've earned authenticity. So when you walk into that salon, whether tomorrow or a year from now, don't say, make me look younger. Say, make me look like me now. Because now is exactly where your beauty lives. Final thoughts. You are not fading. You are evolving. If you've made it this far, thank you. You didn't just watch a style video. You took time for yourself. And maybe, just maybe you felt something shift. This isn't about trends. It's not about rules. It's about becoming visible again. About feeling like your reflection matches the woman you are inside. Strong, wise, radiant, real. Every habit we discussed was just a layer you now have permission to peel back. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you can choose to change one thing today. Maybe it's a blouse you stop hiding behind, a pair of shoes that lift you, a haircut that feels like freedom. Whatever it is, do it with intention, with gentleness, with joy, and remember, you are not fading. You are evolving, and that evolution is beautiful.